the second week of Coach Vic's Open Gym. This recap and this film work is brought to you by I-70 Entertainment. Coach Vic's Open Gym is sponsored by I-70 Entertainment and the Kingdom League. And today, we're going to talk about different things, but first I want to make sure that you all know that I'm Coach Vic, and this is my guy, Coach T.
I'm Coach T. Make sure you all hit that like and subscribe button. Now, Coach, I wasn't there last week, obviously, but what I want to start off with this week, man, I want you to give a brief history on the Coach Vic Open Gym because you left us for a little bit of time, for a few years, so now you're getting right back to it. But just drop some knowledge to these younger guys on how it started, what it was.
Absolutely. Originally, I came up with the idea for Coach Vic's Open Gym, and actually it was based upon the play of Jared Sullinger. Jared was a big kid here in Columbus, Ohio at Northland High School, and he rarely faced any challenges. So I thought that if I could get different players from different schools to come and play against and with those other kids, that it would create a lot of competition, a lot of challenges. And it did. And at first, we started off at the Hoop on Fifth Avenue. They had 6 courts there, and I started off in 2008 with 2 courts. By the end of the summer, I was doing 3 courts at the Hoop, dedicated to Coach Vic's Open Gym on Sundays. The next year, it blew up. I had all 6 courts. I would invite up to 70 kids every Sunday. And not only would we have all 70, with all courts filled up,
And some standbys.
we'd have standbys, we'd have a team off to the side, everything. And it was great. And through the years, I kept doing it. I did it up until 2018, I believe. And at that time, I was getting a little older, and I was like, I got some other things I need to do, so I decided to hand it off to someone else for them to do it. But during my time of doing this, I'm telling you, I had some talent.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah,
You say that who?
it was the who's who of basketball.
Okay.
I had Jared
Drop some
Sullinger,
names. Okay.
Trey Burke,
Yes, sir.
Jason Tate,
Absolutely.
and these guys were high majors, ended up being pros. I even had Chris Johnson come a time or two. And
Brookhaven legend.
oh yeah, he was a legend. And not to mention other people.
Nigel Hayes.
Nigel Hayes came down. I had Devin Williams come up from Cincinnati. I even had Derek Culver come from Youngstown. He came and played. And let me not forget Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert was a star at Coach Vic's Open Gym. I honestly had the pleasure of talking to Michigan about him and his recruitment. And at one time, during one of their hype videos, they had video of him playing at Coach Vic's Open Gym. So it was really special.
Right.
So I stepped away in 2018 for a couple years. I thought it would go on, but the people who took it over, they couldn't really sponsor it like I did. And so, that was fine, but I needed to move on to do other things.
Now, we're not going to gloss over this. When you say sponsor it like you did, basically what you're saying is you put forth all the money.
Oh, all the money.
Right. Now, the kids, it was
everything.
a charge. It was a charge at the Hoop. What was it, $5?
$5.
Nobody had to pay. If you were in Coach Vic's Open Gym, and like he said, we would have 70 kids.
Yeah.
Every court was full, and you had the next.
Yes.
You had 5 or 10 up next.
That's
They're
right.
ready to go.
And the other thing was, though, at one point in time, the Hoop, they saw it, and generally the Hoop was just empty on Sundays. But when I came up with this idea, at first they looked at it, and we tried it those first summer. When we got up to 3 courts, they was like, okay, you coming back? I'm like, yeah, I'll come back. When I came back the next year, and it was every court, they was like, man, this is incredible. We're going to have to charge them $5 a piece. Then they said, no, now we have to charge them $8 a piece. I said, that's fine if you charge them $8 a piece, but you give me 2 of the dollars, because without me, they're not coming. We haggled over it, and finally they was like, okay, Well, they give me the $2. I turn around and use that money to pay for the kids to come in.
Right.
You know, like I said, it's never been about a profit for
Right.
me. It's about the kids and their ability to have an
Absolutely.
opportunity to play in a safe environment, that you know that the competition is going to be tough. I remember Dana Patterson and his wife, they would bring kids from Dayton every Sunday.
Right.
And it was great. You know, we had some top-notch
What's top
talent.
notch? Oh yeah,
Top
when you
notch.
talk about top notch, that they used to bring that. We used to bring crews 5
Yes, yes.
from out of town.
5
They
from
would bring their
Dayton,
own team.
5
Absolutely.
from Cincinnati, 5
Absolutely.
from the Toledo area. Quincy
Right.
Simpson in Lima, he would bring a crew down. It was great, and it was
Right.
competitive basketball. The one
Absolutely.
thing that I'm really proud of in all my years of doing it, I've never once had a fight erupt at Coach Vic's Open Gym. I pride myself on that because those kids, they respect my name and I respect their game. And we make it clear at the beginning, this is what we're here for, is to play basketball. And so after I stepped away for about 4 or 5 years, last summer, it just hit me, actually last spring, that this has to come back. I'm watching the kids and I'm really seeing the parents, and now AAU, the expenses have blown up.
Absolutely.
And I said, I have to give the people something, and it has to be something that is iron sharpening iron for the players, but free for the players and their fans and family to come and watch. And so I said, I'm bringing it back. And last year I was up at REP Fieldhouse, great gym.
Absolutely.
And they
Yes.
really helped me lay it out. I brought it back. This year I had to move because, again, it's growing.
Bigger.
It's growing. And so like this past week, we had 30 kids on 3 courts. And I'm telling you, the competition was good. The games were good. We had at least 4 games go to overtime.
Okay.
So the teams are balanced. The talent is spread out. You do not get to come in with your own team of you and your friends who are all top level. No. Iron is going to sharpen iron at Coach Vic's Open Gym.
Absolutely. Tell us about last Sunday.
Okay, this past
Give us some
Sunday.
highlights.
Oh,
You know,
my
because I
goodness.
want to hear it. I wasn't there.
Well, I'ma
so you
tell
gotta
you.
you gotta let me know too.
Yeah, we had 6 teams,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, honestly, going into it, that the team with the 3 kids from Reynoldsburg or the team with the 3 kids from Afrocentric, that one of those would probably win the most games
Let's see.
on the day.
And see, we didn't talk about the Afrocentric guys
Right.
last week, and they really impressed me. They play hard. I only saw 2 of them, but they play hard. They're athletic, and they're very competitive, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you,
Yeah,
this
I
week they
like
brought the
them.
third, Josh Smith. He came and he performed. So
Okay.
Josh Smith, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing his name correct, Deron Gray
Okay.
and Rohan Hardy. I'm going to tell you, bouncy, athletic, gets after it, very competitive. All 3 of them, they do not like to lose.
That's a great
Those
trait.
guys are tough. I'm expecting a lot from Afrocentric this year. But just as competitive and just as feisty was the trio from Reynoldsburg.
Really
They had
impressed by them.
Jordy Bowens, Jordan Fisher, Xavier McKinney, those guys, man,
Really impressed.
again, they play together, they play well, they play like a machine. They're good. But
But okay,
it didn't turn out like I thought, Coach.
how'd
I
it
had put
turn out?
together another team. And this team, it had a really good player. The player I think has the highest level offers right now,
Okay.
Alex Smith.
Okay. We talked about him last week.
Yeah, great player, great player.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, finish your story because I got something for you about him. I
Okay,
think.
okay. And I put with him a kid that I met last year up at REP. His name is Daniil Krylo. And I've been watching him this off season, watching him work at his game, get better. And then a new kid that I had not had before. Marco Matucci, I believe is how he pronounces it. And I'm
Where's
going
he
to tell
from?
you, he's from New Albany.
Okay.
Him and Quilo both play at New Albany.
Okay.
And then I had the Callaway brothers from Hartley.
Mm.
Man, that team, communication. I always preach that at the end, at the beginning of each session that you guys got to communicate. They communicated.
Yeah.
They played selflessly. They passed the ball. They performed. They hit shots. And every game, if you tried to get a run on them, they ran it right back at you.
Yeah, you
Those
know-
guys was tough.
You know that
And-
communication comes from
Hey,
being
good
good
coaching.
coaching.
That's
Absolutely.
right, good coaching.
Being well
and I'm gonna tell you
coached.
something. That Matucci can shoot that thing. He can shoot that
I know who you. Yeah,
But-
I've seen clips of him.
thing. The shocking
Yeah.
part was when he caught a body. Yes, sir. He caught a body. The boy got bounced.
Okay, so
That team that I put together, the red team, it had Alex Smith
yes, sir.
from Upper Arlington,
Right.
Daniil Krylo from New Albany. It had Marco Matucci from New Albany.
You like him, or you
Yes.
like that name?
Absolutely. And the Callaway boys from Hartley.
Yeah, tough. tough.
Jackie and Jaden.
Right.
Very good, very good.
Right.
But that team, they just played so well. They communicated.
Mm-hmm.
They got on the ball. If a team tried to get a run off on them, they got to run right back.
Right.
Then, like by the end of the day, they were just dominant. That team was great and
Played hard, huh?
played very hard. Totally
That's how
undefeated.
you get better.
Yes, sir.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
Alex Smith from. I think I might be wrong, but I think he was undefeated week 1.
I believe he was, but what happened was he was off to the side, and they picked up 2 guys from
Yeah.
the losing team.
Right.
So even though they went all the way and won, they still had a couple of losers, so they
My
could not
point.
defend.
My point is
But,
he hasn't
hey,
lost.
you are
That's my
right.
point. I don't care about what he ain't lost.
He is a baller, man.
So that's something,
Definite
man.
baller. And I want to talk about a guy who really, he showed up. He came as a recommendation from a coach, said, hey, man, you might want to give this guy a try. And I said, okay. I talked to his dad. His dad is actually the coach of Grove City
Okay.
basketball team.
Okay,
And he
Coach
brought his
Saxton, my
son,
guy.
Jake Saxton. And when I saw him, I'm thinking, just on the look,
He ain't passed
are
the
you
eye
sure
test,
that
huh?
this guy should be here? He belongs. Let me tell you, he belongs. He can't be any taller than 5, 6, or 7. I think they try to tell me 5'8". He has 6'8" game. He was playing. He can shoot. He can handle. You can't pressure him and get the ball away from him. But I think what really stood out for me was how hard he played. At one point in time, one of his teammates shot the ball, it missed, it came off, and the guy who's standing right next to him was 6'4".
Right.
6'4".
Okay.
Jake jumped and snatched that rebound from him. That kid is a coach's son, and he can play. Jack Saxton. Remember that name, Jake Saxton. He's going to be tough. You're going to be watching for him this year.
We
And,
talked about Coach's sons last week too.
Yes,
didn't
sir.
we?
Yes, sir. They always play hard. They play smart.
Right.
And Jake was definitely that. And so I want to make sure I shouted him out about that. Another player who was new to Coach Vic's this year, not last year, he was there, but this year he came, and I'm going to tell you something. He was a great performer. Plays at Whitehall. His name is Reggie Bagley.
Okay.
Reggie is 6'4", 6'5", jumps out the gym. Killer jumper. He has handles, he has the jumper, and he defends. Reggie defends. He's slight build, but he's tough. He doesn't back away from anybody. And I don't care if you were somehow able to hit 2 jumpers in a row on him. That third jumper, block. Next time you got the ball, rip. Reggie can play. I'm telling you something. He is definitely someone that people should be on the lookout for. College coaches call me Reggie Bagley, Whitehall. He's tough.
Right.
And so that was pretty much that day's wrap up.
Gotcha.
Before we leave today, though, I do want to discuss one more thing. That is about Coach Vic's Open Gym and the invitation. When I send you that invite, I'm only allowing 35 people to come each week. So when you get that invite, you should have some pride about yourself because everybody can't get that invite. I have people all over my DM saying, send me one, send me one, send me one. And yet I send them to some people, you accept it, but then you don't come. When you don't come, you're missing out. You are missing out on all the work that you really need to get. But on top of that, you have now blocked someone else from receiving that invite. I can't accept that. I have to hold you accountable. If you accept the invite and you don't show, you don't call or explain why you're not going to be there, and I don't mean after the fact, before, so that I can replace you, I can't accept that. So when you do that, don't be surprised when you're not invited back, because I want people who want to be there. You could be a great player. I might be missing out on some talent by not inviting you back, but you cannot disrespect our process. It's there for a reason. And again, if you don't want to play, don't accept. If you can't play, call me and tell me, hey, life is lifing. I can't make it this week. That's okay. But when you accept and you don't call or text or let me know that you're not going to make it, then I have to do what I have to do and I have to move on. I just want to say that to you all so that you understand. This is why sometimes you might not get an invite back. But hey, there's always standby. And people who say, oh man, I'm too good, or I should never have to be standby. Let me tell you, Trey Burke, that's right, the Trey Burke, he was standby. Anybody can be standby. You just have to come and want to play. That says a lot about you, that, hey, I'm just coming off the chance that I can play. That shows me you want it, and I respect that. All right.
Hold on. Let me say, that's why I thought it was important for you to run down a little history.
Yes, sir.
You're not just some random guy who's just who's just starting an open gym. And if they don't have anybody who was around during those times, then they won't know about the history of it and the talent. And those who were around from 08 to 18 can attest to the competitiveness. I mean, Coach said it wasn't fights, but that doesn't mean it wasn't near fights. Because it would get heated. You wanted to stay on that winner's court. You did not want to go back down a court. And that's what he's trying to bring here. And so he's trying to teach the young man to be responsible. If you're going to say you're going to do something, then if you can't do it, like, there's nothing wrong with you not being able to do it. Be responsible, be considerate, and make a contact with Coach Vic so he can make an adjustment. That's all that's going on. But because we know stuff comes up, like you said, like Coach said, life gets to lifing. So just be considerate and make that call, make that text early, ASAP. But to the guys who've been there, I know I just saw 1 week. Coach has been glowing about this past week. I'm excited about this next Sunday to see what it is. And Coach, I see you excited, man, because that's all you've been talking about.
I'm anxious. So again, we look forward to seeing those kids out there, and hopefully some of you will come. And even if you're not invited, show up. Every week, something happens. It could be your turn. So just remember that. Hey, this is Coach Vic.
It's Coach T.
We're signing off from I-70 Entertainment.
Absolutely.
Sponsored by the Kingdom League as well. We look forward to seeing you next week. Coach Vic's Recap.
One love.